Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone, to once again another live stream here on the VB Thomas platform. Today, we will be racing with the All Elite Racing League. It's not really league, but All Elite Racing today. It's gonna be on. Where is it gonna be? Canada. It's gonna be on Canada. Thank you, Toxic. Really appreciate it. So yeah, Canada today. I'm not too sure what I should expect from it, but last week we had Spain and Craigleton won that one, Oliver Whittleston in P2, and then you had Tyler in P3. So congratulations to all three. Once again, a British podium. Well, a British podium. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do about it? So yeah, Spain. It was raining. It wasn't really fun. So today we have got Canada, of course, and Canada is always a trick where you're going to be able to make a couple of overtakes into turn one whenever possible. But yeah, you just need to watch out for whatever is happening in front of you. And yeah, that's just the thing around Canada. I'm going to be doing something real quick just so everything is correct. 1 second, please, guys. Something is wrong with the thingy. Should be all right now. Yeah, so as I said already, it's going to be in Canada. It's going to be the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Melbourne. No, Melbourne. What am I saying? Oh my days. Melbourne. Nobody clip that, please. So it's going to be in Montreal. That was it. Melbourne, Montreal. It sounds a little bit the same. So Canada, as I said already, 38 million people in Canada. So it's quite a big country. First Grand Prix was in 1978, and Schumacher and Hamilton have both won the most Grand Prix on this track. They have both won 7 Grand Prix, so that's quite a bit. The quality record is a 110.2, and the lap record is a 113.0. So let's see if someone is going to be able to beat that. I do not think so, because that was with the 2021 cars. No, that was with the 2019 cars. So as you can see right now, into turn 4, into turn 5, it's a long left right-hander, and then you're coming into that long left-hander, and then once again another right-hander into turn 7, and then you're gonna have that chicane section. So you're actually gonna have 2 chicane sections, one in turn 4 and 5, and one into 7 and 8, if I'm not mistaken, or 8 and 9. You've got that long right-hander. It's a little bit of a U-turn, and as you can see right here, it's easy to make a dive bomb in there. So we're possibly going to be seeing a lot of dive bombs into that corner. Then you've got that long main straight where you're going to have the DRS leading into the Wall of Champions. As you can see, a lot of guys are crashing into that corner. You've got the race start, which is always a little bit chaos. Into turn 1, there's a lot of people who make a dive bomb and just crash someone out in front of them. Then you've got turn 2, which you need a lot of traction coming through that corner to be able to make a move into turn 3. And then, of course, you've got a good overtaking opportunity. Now, let's look at the strategy here. Is that the safety car probability is quite high, so a 2-stopper is quite nice. Welcome, Nate. Welcome, Larcy. Welcome, everyone in the stream today. So safety car is quite high. You've got the tire degradation rate, which is not that very high, so a medium, soft, or a medium hard could both work. Also a hard soft or a hard medium could also both work. So yeah, it's just your preference, Tire overheating probability is quite high, so watch out with starting on the softs today. Now let's have a quick look on my predictions today, as I'm gonna take the game with me right now. Who is there? I'm gonna go with Tyler in P2, Zach Zeke in P1, and who else is there that is pretty good? So maybe Nate. He's in the Alfa Romeo car, finally be called Canada after this race. What does Canada mean? No idea what that means. All right, so Nate in P3, we've got, who did I say again? Tyler in P2 and Zach Zeke in P1. 2 safety cars, and the biggest winner is going to be Nate. Biggest loser is going to be Clashy. There we go. All right, so the qualifying has already started, so let's go straight. Oh my days, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I totally get you, dude. Canada. Do you think you're going to be performing well here in Canada? I mean, it should be pretty good. It should be pretty good. Canada is always a good track, and there's a lot of opportunities for guys who are not always the fastest, so I mean, not saying you're not the fastest, of course, but you know what I mean, right? So the guys who are always up there, Craigleton, and you've got Tyler, and all those guys, you're always at the front, always in the top 3. But maybe today it's going to be an opportunity for someone who wasn't able to get in the top 3 yet. So let's have a quick look with the guys on track right now as we're driving along with Nate. And unfortunately, the standings of last week haven't been up to date yet, so we're not going to be able to talk about the Spanish Grand Prix, but we are going to be able to talk about the standings in general, except for the Spain Grand Prix then. So it's going to be all the Grand Prix that have been there already until Spain. And let's have a quick look with Nate here. As the standings say right now, he's got 12 points in total. He's in P9, and he scored a average points of 3 points a race. He's completed 4 races and lost 4 positions during all of those Grand Prix. So that indicates that usually when he's qualifying, he's a little bit faster during the qualifying than during the race. So Nate, let's say he's going to put himself in P6 today. That might mean he's going to finish in P7 depending on the situation of the track, of course. Penalties, he's got 0. He's checked in 1, so that's just a glitch from the game. Is there anything else? Not really. Nothing that has been... it's a pretty bad attendance, but you know, it's still holiday season, and yeah, I think the owner just doesn't have enough time, or doesn't really have the energy to put effort into getting new people to join. And usually these guys, they're pretty fast. So the guys who are like up here, it's very difficult to reach that level, you know. We've got Oliver Whittleston, who races on a 104 AI. There's not many people who race with 104 AI, and usually those guys who have that kind of AI, they're usually already in a league. So yeah, it's a little bit, you just have to analyze on who fills in which spots, if that makes sense. You know, we've got a couple of like reserves and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I wouldn't say they're that fast. Nate, who's coming into the pits right now after a P2. I totally forgot Craigleton was in here. I should have put Craigleton in the top 3. Well, it is whatever, right? It is whatever. So we're right on board with Apex Light right now, and I'm not too sure if he's on a fast lap. Doesn't look like it as he's coming into the pits. Ken right now. Craigleton is the fastest. Yeah, he is. I totally forgot about Craigleton. I might put him as my biggest loser. In all honesty, I think that's gonna be... I think he's gonna get taken out into turn 1 by someone. Ken right now coming across the line, the Alpine driver. Where is he in the standings? He seems to be all the way in P5 or P6 as he puts a P4 in this qualifying right now. 110.6. Yeah, Nate, you're doing absolutely amazing. At 110.3, you're only 1.9 tenths away from Craigleton. And in all honesty, Craigleton is a pretty fast driver, but if you're able to keep up with him, that's pretty amazing. You've been practicing. That's amazing, buddy. The more practice, well, practice makes key, or whatever that is. Practice makes perfect? No, not really, because you can't be perfect. Being perfect is never an option. Nobody is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes every now and then. Even in a 35% race or in a 50% race, there's always going to be that one mistake that frustrates you. For example, taking turn 10 too wide once. This is turn 10. Yeah, if you take that one a little bit too wide, people can just dive bomb down the inside, and practice perfect. Perfect practice. Haha, what about now, Larcy? So Ken, a P4 for the Alpine driver is not too bad, as we've got a couple of guys on an outlet. Maybe we should put the track map out in the lab data, as then we will be able to see who is improving, as it seems like maybe Boss Membrane is improving. He's got the fastest first sector, it seems like. 1/10 improvement on his previous time, and his previous time is a 111.4. So with that 1/10, he's possibly going to put himself in P7, but maybe he can improve a little bit more here through that chicane is a pretty difficult one, if you ask me. You've got that wall on the outside corner into turn 9, and then you've got turn 10 right now. He's improving by 3.7 tenths. That's going to put him in P6, possibly a P5 here for Mr. Boss Membrane, as the Ferrari driver just has to execute the Wall of Champions perfectly in order to be in the top 5. Now, coming around that last corner here, make sure you don't touch the wall at the outside like we saw in that video during the track layover. Coming across the line, it's going to be a P6 with a 110.9, only 2 thousandths away from the McLaren driver, so that is an amazing time from the Ferrari driver, but not enough. Well, he came to 2,000 shorts to be able to get into the top 5. Now, let's have a look at the guys at the back here, as we've got Tyler. He has been performing amazingly these last couple of races. He's got a P3 last week in Spain too, so what is the Red Bull driver going to be able to do here in Canada today? Is he going to get this first race win? I'm not too sure if he got a race win already, but I do see him on the podium each week. But is he going to get a race win today in Canada? He's going to take a wide turn into turn 10. Not too sure if that's a wise decision, but he's got the fastest second sector already, as he's now coming down this long main straight where you will have the DRS. And then, of course, into the Wall of Champions. Let's drive along. No, we cannot drive along, unfortunately. Here we go. As Tyler hopefully comes across the line to put a 110.2. So that is going to be the fastest lap for now. Still 9 more minutes in the qualifying, of course. So these guys still have plenty of time to improve their times. And I do see Craigleton being able to beat this 110.1 from Tyler, because usually the longer we're going into the qualifying, the warmer or the hotter the surface gets. And the hotter the surface gets, the faster the tires will be, if that makes sense. If it's cold on the track, you're not going to be able to perform very well, because it's going to be slippery, and the tires are not really burning into the concrete or the asphalt. So basically, when it's at the end of the qualifying, the track is getting a little bit hotter, because all the guys are performing on track. And usually, you know, during the beginning of the qualifying, usually it's a full qualifying, right? So in Q1, the guys are always going to be a little bit slower, because the track is not warmed up, because nobody has been driving on that track for like 2 or 3 hours, because usually they do an F2 race in front of it. Or is it F2? Oh no, that's probably in the morning, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure, but they do it in the beginning though. So yeah, like the track is usually going to be a little bit cold. And going into sector 2, qualifying 2, qualifying 3, it's going to be getting hotter, and that's usually why a lot of guys are going to be able to improve their time at the end of Q3. And you're always going to see the fastest lap in Q3. That's just the thing. You're never going to be... Yeah, except for when you've got rain, of course. But, for example, if you've got a Q1 time, which is, in this case, on Canada, going to be like a 1:11. In Q2, you will get a 1:10.5. And then in Q3, you will get a 1:10.10, like Tyler just did. Maybe not with that big of a difference, but you see where I'm going, right? But it's never going to happen that, for example, a Q1 time is faster than a Q3 time. Usually. Only if it gets like really bad weather. For example, in Singapore, you can have tropical storms in a matter of seconds. In Belgium, the same though. In Belgium, you can have the exact same. Not tropical storms, of course, because it's not tropical here at all in Belgium. But for example, I mean, you saw the race from last year or 2 years ago, where you had that really big storm. A couple of hours later, it was sunny again. So yeah, it really messes up these races, and it should be on the game that the FIA can choose which tracks are going to be raining and which not. Or like, agree with some drivers, or you know what I mean, right? Because then I would be doing... Which tracks would be fun in the rain? Spain is actually a fun one in the rain, but it never rains in Spain, so... which one is good in the rain too? Maybe... Zandvoort? Nah, Zandvoort is a too high-speed track. Maybe Hungary? Hungary must be a fun one. Although you're going to be sliding onto the curbs every now and then. That's not going to be fun. Let me think. Ooh, Monza in the rain. That would be a fun one. Because Monza is usually not very difficult. Oh, again with a spin. He went too fast onto the throttle coming out of the chicane. As he's now parallel with the track. He needs to watch out for the Aston Martin who is coming. But he can't stand still too much. Because that's going to give a disqualification. There we go. And now he's just going to slide onto the track again. Haha. Good job, Ken. Good job. Here goes the Aston Martin. He invalidates his lap right when I look at him. When I watch him, unfortunately, he is not going to be able to perform a little bit better. And I'm 100% now giving my biggest loser of the evening to Craigleton, because Clashy is all the way in P11. And I mean, the chances that he's going to be dropping out all the way to P13 are, I'm not going to say high, but they're like average. Like, there's a chance. There's a chance. But then he would be only losing 2 positions, right? If Craigleton drops back all the way to P13, he would be losing 11 positions. So that's what's up right there. Boss Membrane. He performs a fast as second sector, but he was only 500s up. So is the Ferrari going to be able to put himself in that justified P5 position, or isn't he? Because he needs to improve by 4 tenths, and maybe it's the wall of chicanes where he fucked up. Let's have a quick look. Coming across the line, it's gonna be a 110.8, a 1.4 tenth improvement, and that is gonna put him in P7. FF is gone. What is FF, Ken? Oh, force feedback. I'm such an idiot. You probably have the T300 wheel, don't you? The T300 wheel is such a bad wheel, bro. Your force feedback is always gonna be gone. And I don't understand why. I know it's overheating, but guys, just make sure your wheel is like a correct wheel. You cannot sell 50% of your wheels that are broken. Like, for example, you know, I read something about the T300 wheels, right? 50% are like having a problem with something. Usually it's the force feedback dropping away. But 50%, do you know how much that is? That would be 13 people in the lobby right now. If everyone had a T300, 7 people would have problems with their wheel. And that for a wheel for like, how much does a T300 cost? 300 pounds or something? 200 pounds maybe? 300 pounds? Not too sure. That is fucking insane, bro. And like, usually it's the same with the G29 because, yeah, they're, I'm not gonna say low budget because I know it's quite expensive, a wheel. But they're pretty low budget compared to Fanatec's, for example. Because Fanatec wheels, yeah, Larcy, you're probably the guy on the other 50% who doesn't have any problems. But I didn't have any problems on my T300 either, my first one, until a couple of months back. I sent it back to the guy, to the store where I bought it from. They just gave me a new one, and there goes Jaws. He's just warming up his tires, it seems like, as the Red Bull driver. Possibly Tyler, as we might want to get on board with Craigleton here. Let's drive on board with a POV view coming into turn 2, which is a long right-hander. You've got a lot of curb on the outside, which you can take going into this little chicane. Take as much curb on the inside, take as much curb on the other inside and the outside to be able to get a good exit, as we've got the Ferrari driver or the McLaren driver right on the inside. Take a lot of curb into turn 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, not 100% sure. Now going into turn 8 and turn 9, he wants to get the corner as much as possible here and take a lot of curb on the inside. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate. He doesn't actually. Beautiful line from the AlphaTauri driver right there. Now into turn 10, it's going to be a long right-hander, 1.3 tenths of an improvement. That's going to be Tyler's time. So Tyler is under pressure here, but Craigleton is too. He still has to perform very well in the Wall of Champions. Now coming down the main straight, turn 11 and 12 is what it's called. And then it's going to be turn 13 and 14, the Wall of Champions. A lot of curb on the inside, which you need to take. And he does that perfectly. A lot of curb on the outside too, which is usually a little bit of a risk. But Craigleton, a 1.9.8, 3.47 tenths of an improvement for the AlphaTauri driver. And he is just mental today here in Canada. Now let's drive on board with Tyler as he's warming up his tires again. He wants to go for that fastest lap. He just saw Craigleton put the fastest lap on the board with a 1:09.8, so he needs to improve by more than 2.5 tenths to be able to perform, well, to get a P1 on the starting grid today, as he's going to be starting right now. Coming across the line, he was 9 seconds slower, but that's quite logic because you're on an outlap, you're warming up your tires, or a second outlap, you know. So Tyler now entering sector 1. You've got that fast chicane, which I was talking about. Take a lot of curb on the inside and the outside, which he doesn't really do that much. He doesn't take too much curb on the outside. Now into turn. Ooh! Loses the car and he spins. The Red Bull driver retires from the session here in Canada, and he's not going to be able to improve. Tyler all the way in P2. That might have been a little bit of a mistake there. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously a mistake, but I'm not too sure if it was something with his wheel or something, because, you know, it looked very funny how he died, if that makes sense. Now let's drive on board with Apex Glide. The Ferrari driver was improving by a couple of tenths, as he's now entering sector 3 with a 1/10 improvement. But that's not going to put him in the top 9 yet, but maybe he can perform pretty well in the Wall of Champions, of course. Now let's have a quick look if he's going to be able to do that, though. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to improve, but it seems to be going pretty smooth through there. Now coming across the line with a 1:10.8. It's going to put him in P9 with a couple of hundreds from Will Askew. So qualifying is over except for Ken. He invalidated his lap, so it's not going to be an improvement for the Alpine driver. Comes sliding across the track, and that is going to be your qualifying over. Ken puts himself in P6, and Nate did indeed put a better performance in than last week. Nate is going to be in P4 or P5. P5 it is, as the American driver in the Alfa Romeo team. My favorite nationality and my favorite car combined. That cannot be, well, that can only be a good combination, you know. That can, yeah, as it's my favorite combination, so that's what's up. Ken, actually, Ken, are you Swedish? That's quite funny. I didn't know Ken was a Swedish name. It's you're probably joking. You're probably joking, aren't you, Ken? So Craigleton has put himself in P1. We've got Tyler in P2 and Zach Seek in P3. Further, we've got Bramblebee, who had a P4 performance. So obviously, the Haas driver coming into the session, doing a good qualifying here in Canada, and hopefully he's going to be able to improve. I mean, improve in positions, of course, during the race. So it's going to be cloudy today, so there is no rain at all to be found here in Canada. Well, across the Canada land, the surface and the clouds are there, but there's no rain in the clouds right now, so no rain can be dropping, of course. So everyone is going to be in the paddock, well, not in the paddock, in the pit lane, because they're all setting up their setups and tires and strategies and all that kind of stuff. And I really wonder what strategies everyone will be running, because usually the soft tires, I wouldn't say it's a good idea to start on the soft tires. I'm not too sure of the F123 game, but I knew on the F122 game that, yeah, there was a little bit of a discussion going on with how unrealistic the tire temperatures were. And yeah, if you've got a lot of tire temperatures at the beginning of the race, you're going to be spinning, right? Especially on the soft tires. So yeah, unfortunately, usually the guys were not able to pick the soft tires, as I do see a soft tire already. We've got Tyler in P2 on the softs. Let's have a quick look at what tires everyone else is on. Tyler is going to be the only one on softs, so he's not listening to the stream. We've got mediums for Craigleton, Zach Zeke, and Bramblebee. And we've got hards for Nate, Ken, and Boss Membrane. Josh in P8 all the way on the mediums. And then we've got all the other guys on hards except for Will Borrow in P13 with the medium tires. So yeah, these guys are all on different strategies. We might be looking at Josh trying to get a couple of points or positions on the board already during that first lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. Because on the medium tires, you're going to have a way better start. And I would say turn 1, you can easily make a dive bomb down the inside or around the outside if you've got good traction coming through turn 2. So yeah, hopefully Josh is going to be able to perform a little bit better. And then, of course, you're going to be seeing Tyler possibly making that move on Craigleton down the inside into turn 1, because the soft tires are going to be faster off the grid. And yeah, he's definitely the one guy I think is going to make that move into turn 1. So we're going to keep a close eye on that move, hopefully, as the guys are now coming across the wall of champions. Hopefully nobody is going to have an issue coming through that on the formation lap, because that's not going to give a good sign to go through there on the during the actual race, because the guys have to come through there 35 times, and it is going to be 35 laps today. 50%, of course, and I mean 50% race. It's usually 70 laps around Canada. And I'm going to take a quick sip of my Fanta, and then we can get started here for the Canadian Grand Prix, because I'm trying to get my thingy done. Here we go. Okay, guys, we are ready for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's gonna be 5 red lights here in Melbourne. I'm seeing it again. Montreal, and the guys are going 5 red lights, and away we go for the Gilles Villeneuve Grand Prix. Tyler is already looking to make a move around the outside. They're going side by side through turn 2. Tyler has a good start here on these soft tires, has a good run coming through turn 2, and they're still going side by side. Are they going side by side through the chicane? Doesn't look like it. Craigleton just gave that position for free to the Red Bull driver. Now tries to go around the outside, has the inside line here. Turn 5 it is, if I'm not mistaken. Turn 6 right now, as the Haas driver trying to make a move down the inside on Craigleton right there. Brambleby on these medium tires. He's right on the tail of the AlphaTauri driver. Is he going to be making a move into the inside? Doesn't look like it. Takes too much curb on the inside. Already has a 3-second time penalty, and that is quite soon. Only half a lap has been driven, and he already has a penalty. Now looks to make a dive bomb, but it is not going to be an opportunity. Bossman Bray makes that move on Nate. And Nate, who only lost 1 position. We've got Willie Barrow all the way in P11. He made up 2 positions. And Josh, the biggest loser of the evening as of now, as he dropped back all the way from P7 or P8 to P13. It is going to be a close battle at the front. But there is a little bit of a gap forming between P4 and P5 right now, as we've got the Ferrari driver. I think someone had an issue. Nate and the Ferrari driver. Nate down the inside. Both drivers on hard tires. And the Ferrari driver having a little bit of a snap. Might have had a little bit of an incident with the Alpine driver right behind him. We've got Ken right now in P7. The Swedish driver sniffing the butt of the Ferrari driver. Has a good line through that chicane. And he's going to be even closer now through that turn 6 right now. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. And that is going to be the other Ferrari driver, Apex Glide. There's a yellow flag, and Clashy crashed out. Clashy is going to have a DNF here into turn 6. No, turn 4, turn 5. Where's that chicane? Turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn 6 it is indeed. So Clashy has left the session, unfortunately, and there is a virtual safety car out. So nobody is going to be able to improve on their positions, but the safety car, well, the virtual safety car is going to come in pretty soon, as of course it is virtual, so nobody is able to see a safety car on the track. But once the green flags are going in or going out, we are ready to go again, and we can make that move into turn 1. Hopefully Bossman Brain, he can keep Ken behind him, I'm pretty sure of that. But his main rival at the moment is Nate, because both drivers were pretty close trying to get a move on each other. But it is Nate who took the lead right now out of these 3. And Willie Barrow with a drive-through penalty, speeding under safety car. So he's not going to be able to get a good performance here. And he's already coming into the pits. That's not a good idea. Willie Barrow, you cannot serve that yet. You need to wait until the virtual safety car is gone. So virtual safety car is gone right now. It's green flags and go, go, go. We've got Bossman Brain right on the tail of Nate. As the American driver is really trying to defend his P5 position here. A P5 is always great. He's going to score about 10 points on the board here in the Canadian Grand Prix. He was looking to get a good performance in qualifying. Got about a P6 or a P5 if I was not mistaken. But right now having a heated battle with the Ferrari driver. It seems like Ken is trying to get a little bit closer to the Ferrari driver. Let's have a quick look with James here, as he just got overtaken by Josh. Josh, who is all the way in P9, made up a couple of positions, I do have to say. he got a good comeback race as he was all the way in P13, currently already back into P9. But let's have a quick look with Craggleton here, right on the tail of the Red Bull driver. Is he going to be able to get a move anytime soon? Because, you know, Tyler is on those soft tires, but he's not able to get away from the AlphaTauri driver. Now, Craggleton down the inside here into turn 1. Has the outside line. A little bit of a touch-a-rooney there from the Red Bull driver, as he was not happy with that move from the AlphaTauri driver. Now going side by side, and the Red Bull driver is going to back off. What a smart move from Tyler, but this gives an opportunity to Bramblebee to get a little bit closer to these guys and try to close down that gap. Now into turn 6 and 7, slow corners, so you need a lot of traction coming through that corner in order to be able to get a good exit coming through that corner. So we've got Bramblebee with that penalty already, 7/10 behind Tyler, and these two are just going to be battling with each other the whole race. Can making that move through the chicane, and it is going to be Bossman Brame going onto the curb, just cutting that whole chicane. Not too sure if that was his plan to do so, but we've got Willie trying to go down the inside. He goes a little bit too wide, pushes the Ferrari driver a little bit wide. He should give back that position, as that wasn't completely clean, I would say. Now the Ferrari tailgating on the McLaren driver, goes around the outside, has the inside line, has chosen to go for the inside line into Wall of Champions. Wouldn't say that's a smart idea, as he is gonna back out of the move. Fastest lap from Bramblebee right now with a 1:13.5. Obviously, he is in clean air, although he's pretty close to Craggleton right now. 2:10. He's got that fastest lap, and he's looking to make that move on the AlphaTauri driver. Craggleton cannot battle too much with the Haas driver at the moment, because then they're going to both lose the toe to Tyler. What strategy is Tyler going for? Is he going for soft, medium, mediums? Is he going for soft, hards? Is he going for any other strategy? I wouldn't suggest so, but maybe he's going to. Bramblebee still on the tail, and we've also got Bossman Brain being pretty close to the McLaren driver, still furious of what happened to him coming into turn 10, as he just got put wide by the McLaren driver. Will Askew gives back that position. He doesn't want any incidents through that chicane. He's now going to go around the outside again here into turn 10. Is he going to push him wide again? It's not possible, but he might be able to get that switchback work. It's going to be a DRS opportunity for the McLaren driver down the main straight here into turn 11 and 12. And then, of course, you've got that Wall of Champions. You need to make that move before the Wall of Champions is there, because otherwise you're just going to have an incident. He does go back onto the racing line. It was pretty close for the McLaren driver, but he made that move work. Some beautiful driving here from both drivers. Unfortunate incident there into turn 1 a few laps ago. The Ferrari driver goes down the inside, makes that move, and they're both going to crash. They're both going to crash. We've got Josh benefiting from that, and it is going to be the Ferrari dropping back from P7 to P9 already. Now there's another guy who's got himself invested into this battle. It is going to be Josh. He's going down the inside here into turn 7. And he makes that move, it seems like. And he touches the McLaren driver. He went too much to the left, to the right side of the track. Touches the McLaren driver. And that is going to be a incident between Josh and Willie Barrow. No, Will Askew, my apologies. Now James Askew got a little bit closer to these two right now, as Bossman Brame, he really had some good reaction time right there. As you saw the McLaren driver crash, and it's going to take a couple of tenths for you to process what happened right there. But I mean, he just was right on time, just sliding across the track, trying to avoid that McLaren car cast. But yeah, I mean, I will ask you, he's going to be frustrated, but it's just a little bit of a payback. Not because it's Josh who did it, right? But just a little bit of payback of karma, what happened to Bossman Brain there. Just he just put the Ferrari driver a little bit too wide into turn 10, just a little bit, you know, and that almost made the Ferrari driver retire, because he was getting pushed into the wall, you know. And I mean, these guys at the front are still pretty close, but Zach Seek managed to get closer to the top 3 right now, trying to make that move on Bramblebee, but Bramblebee is a little bit smarter, tries to defend the inside line through that chicane, because of course you don't want anyone to make a dive bomb through there, because that would be so desperate from that driver. You don't want that to happen. But Zach Seek 5/10 behind Bramblebee, and to get a possible podium. He just needs to be right behind the Haas driver because he's got a 3-second time penalty anyways. And if he cannot get that removed, he's just gonna be a P3. Nevertheless, I mean, talking about Zach Zeek here, Bramblebee with another 3-second time penalty, crashes into the wall, broken front wing from Bramblebee. And that is going to be Bramblebee with a 6-second time penalty, a broken front wing, and possibly not the race he was hoping for. 1.5, 1.8, 2 seconds behind already as he's even losing more time. Now Nate is going to try benefit from that broken front wing, which Bramblebee has, slides through the track, and that is going to be race over for Bramblebee, or isn't it? He's parallel with the track. He's going to cause a safety car. And that is going to be the first safety car of this race here in Canada. And this is an ideal situation for Tyler. He can now just go onto the mediums to try and go on another set of mediums around lap, let me think, 8:27 around lap 13 or 14. No, not 14. You got to do 13 plus 8. It's going to be 21. Around lap 21, he just can come back into the pits if there's another safety car to go on to those other sets of mediums. Does he have enough mediums left though? That is a very, very good question. It does. I do think so. The guys are going to be having 2 sets of mediums. Tyler is indeed coming into the pits. Craggleton, a drive-through penalty, coming into the pits, speeding under safety car. And that is going to be race ruined. And I might get my biggest loser of the evening correct. Craggleton getting a drive-through penalty is going to be a big thing happening here in this race. Nate stays out of the race. He is on hard tires. He was possibly one of the only guys who are going to stay out. Zach Zeek is also staying out on these medium tires. Nate now gets a penalty. He was listening to the stream and he heard he got mentioned. And it was like, oh yeah, VB Thomas is mentioning me. And then he just cut the corner. A penalty. So it's not going to be a race win for Nate unless other guys in front of him can also get a penalty. But of course, that's something you have to hope for, because right now he's not in a situation where he can make up for that 3-second time penalties, because Zach Zeek, I would say, is a little bit faster, if that makes sense. There shouldn't be penalties under safety car. Fair enough. Fair enough. Actually, that's a good statement. I don't think so either, because you're not able to make a move anyway, because you would get a penalty for making a move into, well, under yellow flag. So by the way, guys, I don't know if anyone is listening right now, but do you guys want to maybe have the safety car song? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, my computer is lagging. Uh-oh. This is bad. Alright guys, I'm gonna be right back with you. I'm gonna unplug my audio thing real quick, so I will be right back with you. Yeah, it has something to do with my Focusrite. Alright, I'm gonna... if anyone is listening right now, I'm gonna try something out. So if I tell you that they're now going to do something... Wait, when would I say something? I want to see if it's parallel with what's happening on screen, if that makes sense. So let's say they're... Well, hold up. So if they come across that line into turn 10, can you let me know if it's... Okay, so they're coming across it now. So the Red Bull driver, when I said now, he came across it. Can someone let me know if it came across that line when it was there, when I said it? Probably not. Not too I don't know what it is with this Focusrite. bullshit and all that kind of stuff. Oh my days, man. This is not broadcast setup. This is just so much case. You're out a bit. What do you mean with out? Like, I'm delayed? Yeah. Fuck me, bro. Alright, so we've got Zach Zeek starting the safety car again. Well, safety car comes into the pits, so it's going to be race start again. We're in lap 10 out of the 35 right now. After we got Zach Zeek on these medium tires, he's going to be able to keep Nate behind him. But is he going to be able to keep all of the other guys behind him? Because we've got Tyler, we've got Craigleton, we've got Ken, all on fresh hards and mediums. And it's going to be a hard challenge for the Red Bull driver and the Alfa Romeo driver. But of course, Zach Zeek is still in a safe spot right now. We've got, you know, Nate, who is on those 10-lap-old hard tires. He's gonna have a hard challenge keeping these guys behind him, as we've got Tyler now making a move into turn 8 already. He's not gonna be able to. They're still sticking on the tail of the Alfa Romeo driver. Now makes that move, and Nate is out of the race. Nate is out of the race, and there is gonna be another safety car situation. Yeah, Nate, that's very unfortunate, buddy. I won't talk about it, buddy. I won't talk about it. He was just... Oh, Bramblebee is also out of the race. He probably DNF'd in the pit lane, didn't he? Yeah, so I don't think anyone is going to come into the pits, except for Zach Zeek, of course, but he lost so many positions doing that. He's going to lose 10. He's going to lose 10. That's very frustrating. He's going to be dropped back all the way to the back of the grid. Yeah, yeah. Guys, I'm going to be having a little bit of a break here because I'm going to try and fix this audio. There's nothing to say anyway behind the safety car, so I will be right. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to fix it, unfortunately. Fuck me, bro. I really thought it was going to be... Oh, wait. If I do this, how is that going to work? How is this? No, probably really, really bad. Oh, wait, we're racing already. Fuck me, bro. Yeah, okay, here we go, guys. So we've got a couple of guys who came into the pits. Actually, only Zach Zeke, Will Barrow, and Apex Glide came into the pits. Right now, we're driving on board with Ken, who made a gap of 1 second on Josh already. We've got a penalty for Greggleton, unfortunately. That's possibly that drive-through penalty. Or did he already receive that one? Let's have a quick look. No, it is going to be a drive-through penalty. No, Larcy, it's not fine because I'm delayed. I can see it on my microphone. It's delayed. Ken, who's losing the toe of Greggleton right now. We're currently in lap 14 out of 35. We've still got Tyler in P1, Greggleton in P2, and Ken in P3. Further, we've got Josh in P4, Bossman Brain in P5. We're trying to get a little bit closer to the top group, but Bossman Brain has got his hands full with James Askew right now. Will Askew. Oh, they're probably brothers or father and son or something, but both guys having the Askew name, well, surname, as both Askews are probably going to be working together with each other. We've got Tan and Greggleton, Ken and Greggleton, but Greggleton is coming into the pits, of course, because he's got that drive-through penalty, and he will have to have a big comeback race today. Willie Barrow, who's already got an 8-second time penalty on the board right now, so he's possibly going to drop back all the way to P10 again, because Greggleton might be able to make that move again on the McLaren driver due to the penalties. He's how many seconds is he behind right now? 7.2. So is he going to be able to get a little bit closer to the McLaren driver? Should do it, but of course he needs to get past Will Barrow to be able to get back to the top 8 right now. We've got Tyler in P1. He's got his hands full with Ken right now, but Ken is not able to stick on the tail yet, so he needs to wait. Will Askew right now all the way in P7, and he's got a 3-second time penalty, and the other guy who had a penalty, that was Bramblebee, he unfortunately has DNF'd. It already started really bad for the Haas driver, getting a penalty through the second chicane, and that is really frustrating. It's frustrating if you ask me. Ken now, who gets into the top 1 position, I mean P1 of course, but he is on those medium tires, so we're going to be looking at Ken hopefully making a distance on the Red Bull driver right now. He also has the fastest lap of 1:13.0, as that is going to beat the actual fastest lap on the Canadian Grand Prix track. It's going to be the Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal. Let's hope I didn't say Melbourne again. I was going to say Monaco, but of course we're not on Monaco here. I do have to say it reminds me a little bit of Monaco, this Canadian Grand Prix, but that might be just because of the shape. Because in my opinion, it looks a little bit like the... No, actually, it doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. What am I saying? I'm just chatting shit again, but right now, Willie Barrow and Apex are having a heated battle through the chicane, and it is going to be Willie Barrow getting crashed out by the Ferrari driver. Going through the chicane next to each other is not always a big... well, a smart idea, if you ask me, but unfortunately, Willie Barrow has been taken out by the Ferrari driver right there. Let's go on board with Will Askew right now, as the McLaren driver is going to try and make that move down the inside. Yeah, Canada is a terrible... Although, I mean, you can have some clean battles through here. Josh was pretty close to Bossman Braden. We saw Josh being all the way in P13 during the beginning of the race. Right now, he's already in P4. So the Williams driver having a big comeback race here today, as he's possibly going to be crowned driver of the day here. Now, Bossman Brave in P3 is going to look to get this podium on the board. But of course, Bossman Brave, is he going to be able to? I'm not 100% sure. He's got that raging Williams driver who's already made a lot of moves on the other guys. So yeah, we'll just have to wait. Tyler now in P2. He kind of loses the toe of the Alpine driver at the moment, as we've got Ken in P1, and the Swedish driver, he's just keeping it clean on track right now. He's just doing his thing and not worrying too much about the guy right behind him. We've got Josh right on the tail of the Ferrari driver, and hopefully, you know, he does have that penalty though, as Will Askew is pretty close to the Aston Martin driver right now, and he makes that move. So beautifully done by Will. Probably a little bit of a the cooperation between the two, as Will might be a little bit faster than James here. Just made that move, and Will is going to have the DRS again, so he's going to be right on the tail of Zach Zeek in a couple of corners, because Will does have those fresh mediums. They're going to be, I mean, fresh 9-lap-old mediums, but they're going to be a little bit better than 6-lap-old hards from Zach Zeek right now. So Will Askew, he just needs to watch out with what the hell he's going to be doing today. But yeah, as long as he can keep it close to the Red Bull driver right now, although 1.2 seconds behind, he's just losing that toe of the Red Bull driver at the moment. And John, he's definitely not losing the toe of the Ferrari driver right now. Bossman Brame, who feels the pressure from behind. And Josh, I mean, he's just sticking on the tail. He's not going to be making a desperate move anywhere into turn 10 like the McLaren driver did earlier. But it is going to be Josh now 5/10s behind Bossman Brame, and Tyler is also sticking on the tail of Ken right now. So is Tyler gonna get this race win here today? Ken's probably still has to come into the pits again, which Tyler definitely doesn't. 17 more laps on the board here for the guys, so we're halfway past the race as they're coming across the line to start lap 19 here. Tyler will be able to finish this race on those hard tires, but Ken won't be able to finish the race on those medium tires unless he will be on 27 lap-old mediums, and that's not really suggested because you might be getting a puncture or something like that. I'm gonna take a quick sip of my Fanta. Alrighty, we're back at it again. So Tyler, all the way in P4, I do have to say, he has been looking at a great race, and as I said during the beginning of the qualifying, is he gonna get his possible first race win here in Canada? I'm gonna have a quick look if he already has a race win anywhere. He's got 33 points in total, so that's most likely not going to be a race win. He's been on the podium for 2 times already, been awarded driver of the day once. Points per race is gonna be 8, and he now makes the move into that wall of champions with the use of DRS, going onto the curb, and he's gonna be your leader of the race. No ID, Intronsic, no ID, but you've been performing pretty well, I do have to say that. So congratulations to you. Josh now around the outside. He has a little bit of a touch there with the Ferrari driver. Both drivers not keeping it 100% clean. Zach Zeek now makes that move down the inside of the Ferrari driver. And I do have to say, Zach Zeek, he's just going to be pushing. He just wants that P2 position here for a Red Bull 1-2 during the Canadian Grand Prix. We've got Craigleton all the way in P9, so yeah, this is a really good time for both Red Bull drivers to catch points on the AlphaTauri driver all the way in P9. So what the Red Bull drivers have to do is just get as close as possible to each other. We've got Ken 5.6 seconds ahead of Josh and 5.8 seconds ahead of Zach Zeek. Now Zach Zeek trying to make that move down the inside into turn 1. The Williams driver is going to have a better exit coming through that corner, going to touch the curb on the inside there into turn 11. And is it going to be Bossman Brame with the move first on Zach Zeek, or is Zach Zeek going to have enough traction down the main straight to be able to make that move? Don't tell me they're going 3 wide through the wall of chicanes. They're not going 3 wide, but the Red Bull driver does have a little bit of an incident there with the Ferrari driver, and he just completely cut that corner. So Zach Zeek has to work his way up again, as the Ferrari driver and the Williams driver are having a heated battle. Possible broken front wing for Josh right now, and it doesn't look like it. The Ferrari driver around the outside, and the more they're going to be touching each other, the heated it's going to get. Well, the heater it's going to get between all of these guys. Will Askew got a little bit closer to these two, so it's gonna be a 4-way battle for a possible podium position, as both drivers in P1 and P2 are still battling for that P1 position. So I would say around 23, well, lap 23, the guys should come into the pits again for another set of mediums. Zach Zeek now trying to make that move into turn 1. A deep dive bomb from out of nowhere. And he doesn't have good traction coming down the main straight. So it's going to be a three-way battle. Josh is a little bit safe for now. But Will Askew will have the DRS again. We knew that Zach Zeek doesn't have a lot of straight line speed. As Will Askew now making that move down the inside through the wall of chicanes. Zach Zeek is not going to make that same mistake again. And that's going to be... I don't have any audio. Okay, I was thinking already, like, what the fuck is happening right now? Josh right now in P4. He's 6 tenths behind as the Williams driver. Hopefully... Oh, we've got a Zach Zeek. Will Askew incident right there in P5 and P6. Zach Zeek and Will Askew. Josh and Will Askew both have penalties, though. So how many penalties do they have? 3 seconds for Josh, 6 seconds for Will Askew. So both drivers possibly looking at a position drop to Zach Zeek. And of course, that's going to be Will Askew all the way in P... Well, he's going to drop back all the way to P8 because Apex Glide, Craigleton are getting a little bit closer. And Zach Zeek is possibly going to get the task, if you call it task, get the task to keep Craigleton behind him, because Craigleton is he's just furious thanks to that drive-through penalty. So he's going to be a raging bull on the track right now. And usually when people are a raging bull on track and they've got that winner's mentality, they're going to be getting into that top 3. Nevertheless, like always. It's always going to be the case. Josh right now is sticking on the tail of the Ferrari driver. A little bit of a touch of Rooney there from the Williams driver, and he pushes the Ferrari driver a little bit wide. And Josh, he had a lot of incidents with the Ferrari driver already, now making a move into the chicane. They're going side by side, but he backs out of that move. Josh, the raging bull, he is that raging bull too. But unfortunately, he is, well, disappointing me a little bit with that 6-second time penalty. And the McLaren driver went a little bit too wide coming into turn 10 right now. Josh with a little bit of a snap there. He was looking to get side by side with the Ferrari driver, made that snap work. Well, made it not work. Didn't make it work, but yeah. He just lost position thanks to that. It's going to be a little bit of swerving here. McLaren driver gets back onto the racing line, and Josh coming into the pits, possibly going for another set of mediums, or maybe the soft tires. Zach Zeek has the DRS down the inside. So does Will Askew. He also has that DRS. And is Craigleton going to get that move on the McLaren driver? Will Askew loses a position. Is that a broken front wing there right behind these guys? It did look like it, but Zach Zeek retakes P4. Now has a 1.1 second gap to make up for, because he lost quite a bit of time battling these two. As we've got Will Askew now getting overtaken by Craigleton. Luckily, these two can keep it clean through that corner. But Craigleton, I mean, he was looking at a P10 position. He was 7 seconds behind all of these guys. And right now, he's in P5. Only 10 seconds away from a podium. No, not even 10 seconds. It's like 3 seconds away from a podium. He's got that Red Bull car and that Ferrari car right in his windshield. Not really windshield, because that's looking to the back. Well, in the windshield looking to a windshield. Back to the front, if that makes sense. So Will Askew is coming into the pits right now. Craigleton is going to be in P5, so he's going to retake P5. And that is going to be fresh air for the AlphaTauri driver. So is he going to be able to, like, I'm not too sure, get closer and get on the podium? He's 2.8 seconds behind. He possibly has a broken front wing, as he's losing a little bit more time on Zach Zeek right now. Zach Zeek, who got back to the Ferrari driver, Willie Barber with a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. And Ken all the way in P2, 3 tenths behind Tyler. He's got to come into the pits as soon as possible. But he's not really losing any time, so I do have to give him that, though. But he's going to be losing that time later during this race because there's still 10 more laps on the board. And then, I mean, he's on 16 lap old mediums right now, so it seems like the medium tires are still pretty good. But Zach Zeek now with a good traction coming out of turn 10. 11 and 12 right now. DRS open. DRS wide open. A little bit of ERS usage for the Red Bull driver, and Ken is indeed going to come into the pits. 16 lap old mediums. It was a little bit too much for the Alpine driver, but he definitely doesn't lose too many positions thanks to that. Bosman Brame coming into the pits too, and it is going to be Ken on 8 lap old hards. He didn't have any other medium set anymore, so he's going to be on fresh hards. Quite interesting because he could have gone for soft tires, honestly. Which Bosman Brame did. He's all the way in P6 right now. Lost 2 positions, possibly 3, with the McLaren driver overtaking him now. No, is he going to overtake him though? Is he going to overtake him? They're going side by side, it seems like. No, Bosman Brame is ahead. So Bosman Brame has got a comeback race in the back with those soft tires. I mean, 9 more laps here in Canada, and the soft tires tend to be really fast here around Canada during the last couple of laps. And let's have a quick look how many tenths he's gaining through Sector 2 right now. I mean, it doesn't seem to be too many. He was 4 seconds behind entering Sector 2 right now, coming through that chicane, and he is gonna be 4 tenths faster than Josh ahead. So let's take that into consideration. 7 more laps to race. No, 8 more laps to race. No, 9 more laps to race, actually. 4 tenths times 9. That's going to be 3.6 seconds. So he's going to be able to make that move on Josh. But is it going to be enough? Not 100% sure. I do have to say, it might already be certain that Tyler is going to get your race win here in P1. The Red Bull driver having a 10-second gap on his teammate Zach Zeek. And as I said, Zach Zeek is going to be looking for that P2 position, a Red Bull 1-2. It's always great to see Red Bull being in P4 in the Constructors, which is not great, but not bad either. Maybe after that Spain Grand Prix, they're going to be a little bit more ahead. But definitely here in the Canadian Grand Prix, if they can get a P1 and a P3, that would be amazing. But yeah, Craigleton right now, he's on 80 lap old hards. Is he going to be faster than Zach Zeek on 50 lap old hards? I wouldn't say so. He does have better race pace. He does have more pace on this track. And he's definitely gaining time down the main straight. So we know how Craigleton's setups are designed right now, mainly due to straight line speed, as he's really getting closer to Zach Zeek. So Craigleton, despite having a drive-through penalty, he got back into the top 2, or the top 3 at least. I mean, he's 5.5 seconds ahead of Ken, so we might be... This is not entertaining. I didn't say that, guys. Someone of my viewers said it. This is not entertaining. Yeah, Craigleton is definitely going to be able to get that move on Zach Zeek. He's going to have the DRS coming out of turn 10. They just have to get past this chicane one more time, and he's going to have the toe here down this little straight. So he's even going to be getting a little bit more closer. And is that going to be enough to make that move through the Wall of Champions? He might be able to. He's got that setup designed for the straight lines. And we're going to be seeing blast that DRS, blast that ERS. And how many times is he going to gain? About 1 or 2 tenths dynamics rate, 3 tenths it is, 4 tenths it is. But it's not going to be enough. Maybe coming through. Oh, that was really close from the AlphaTauri driver there. A couple of centimeters between his car and that wall. Well, the Wall of Champions, of course. And he's right on the tail of the Red Bull driver now. 3 tenths, 4 tenths between the two. Is Craigleton looking at a P2 right now? Is he going to be ruining the Red Bull party here? Because both Red Bulls being in P1 and P2 right now. Craigleton, despite being on 20 lap old hards, he still has the pace of 3 lap old softs. Bosman Brame, let's have a quick look if he is going to be gaining time. It does look like it. Although he's not getting any closer to Josh. He's not getting any closer to Josh. Josh, who is on 5-lap old mediums though, but Craggleton now only a couple of tenths away. Only a couple of tenths away, and he's just going to be waiting for that straight line speed down the main straight here, entering the wall of champions, coming out of turn 11 and 12 right now. Does he have good traction coming through those corners? Does look like it. He's going to have the DRS, and is it going to be enough? He had about a 4/10, well, more speed down the main straight last lap, but right now it doesn't look like he was gaining 4/10 anymore. Down the main straight with the use of DRS. He's going to be making that move. Craggleton down the inside. He goes back onto the racing line and takes that P2 from Zach Zeek. Zach Zeek is going to be frustrated though. He sees that he's on faster tires. Well, fresher tires. He sees that he had been battling for this P2 position the whole fucking race. And right now, he's just going to get it getting stolen by Mr. Craggleton in P2 right now. So Zach Zeek all the way in P3, and he's dropping time. He's just losing time. 6/10 already during only 2 sectors, and this is not great for Mr. Zach Zeek. He's got to be furious, but it is gonna be Zach Zeek trying to close down this gap, but Josh got a little bit closer to Ken. 6-lap old mediums compared to 12-lap old hards, and you can see both drivers driving ahead a little bit there. We've got Josh trying to get a good traction coming out of turn 10. He does do so. He's going to have the DRS, and there is still 5 more laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix. Let's have a quick look if Josh is going to be able to make that move around the outside. It does look like it, and Ken gets back onto the racing line, so he can take that Wall of Champions quite nicely here. But yeah, I mean, Josh, he has been battling this whole race. He does have those 6-second time penalties. So yeah, he might not be getting a P4 today, or even a P5, because Bossman Brain is closing the gap, and the more these guys are going to be battling, the more time Bossman Brain is going to gain. And surprisingly, Zach Zeek is still within 1 second of Craggleton. He's not going to have the DRS yet. The DRS detection point is here through this corner to have a little bit of DRS right here. Is there a DRS? Doesn't look like it. Wait. This has tricked me. Oh no, it's on that straight. Okay, it's coming into turn 6, so that's going to be the first chicane. Well, second chicane. Well, depends on if it's a chicane. Well, yeah, turn 6, just turn 6. I'll tell you guys when it's turn 6. Ken, 3/10, 1/10. He's gonna be making that move through the Wall of Champions. It has been done right before the corner was there, because obviously, when making a move through the Wall of Champions, you already need to be ahead of the guy who you're trying to overtake, because otherwise you're gonna be just losing time. You're going to be losing time on the guys ahead. Of course, Ken might not be able to get a little bit closer to Zach Zeek right now, but still. All he has to do right now is just keep Josh behind him, and yeah, he will get a P4. P4 is beautiful. 14-lap old hards. I wouldn't say it was the best option to go for hard tires, although, I mean, soft tires for 11 laps isn't always a good decision either. Because you definitely see Bossman Brave not being able to get any closer to these two, even when they're battling. So maybe Ken has made the right decision going on to those old hards. And Josh, who is on 8-lap old mediums, I mean, he should be faster than Ken, but he just can't get away from him. He's even behind the Alpine driver right now. Uh-oh, Josh with another penalty. That's going to be 9 seconds of penalties. What a frustrating evening for Josh as he now makes the move into turn 1. And Ken does have to watch out, though. Don't battle too much, as Bossman Brain might be able to get a lot closer than Ken was hoping for. 3 more laps here in this Canadian Grand Prix. Let's have a quick look with the position changes. Josh is going to be your biggest winner, so 4 positions gained for Josh, but he's going to be losing another position or maybe 2, maybe 3, because we've got Will Askew with 6 seconds time penalties. We've got Bossman Brain, who's got 0. We've got Ken, who's got 0. But Ken is definitely looking to finish in P4 here in this Canadian Grand Prix. We do have to say these guys have driven a brilliant race. 2 more laps to go as we've got Tyler, our race winner. I do have to say Craigleton got a little bit closer to Tyler. He gained about 2 seconds on the Red Bull driver as now Ken makes that move again down the main straight. The Williams driver pushes the Alpine driver a little bit, but there was no significant damage. I think I didn't see any front wing flying through the air, but yeah, I mean, Josh, he needs to be a little bit careful. Oh, Ken loses the car. He's battling the car right now. He's now around the outside. Josh, I'm talking about here, coming through the chicane, and this is definitely not something Ken was hoping for. Now he's got to be battling 3 guys. He's got to be battling Bossman Brame. He's got to be battling Josh and Will Askew. So the only driver that is going to be a big issue right now is Bossman Brain. So what he cannot do is let Josh go past right now. He needs to make sure that Bossman Brame is just going to be battling a little bit heavier with Josh right now, because otherwise he's going to be losing that position anyway. Ken loses it. Ken loses it into turn 10. Oh, that is a really big issue right now, and he gets a 3-second time penalty on top. The Alpine driver, this is not the race he was looking for, and that is probably a force feedback issue. Once again, from the Alpine driver going into turn 10, he just lost it completely, and that is going to be P4 away. He's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. Apex Glide who gets another 3-second time penalty, and Bossman Brain unexpectedly gets P4 on the board on those soft tires. So Sexy, who's got to be happy with a P3 right now. The Red Bull driver has fought with whatever resources he had. Tyler, 3-second time penalty. Oh, it's not going to affect this race though, but he needs to be careful with those. If he gets another one, he would be in danger, although 8 seconds minus 6, then that's going to be 2 seconds left. Josh still on the toe, still on the tail, still on the toe. Is he going to be making a move into turn 10? Doesn't look like it. He's going to take a long turn, a wide turn, to hopefully get a lot of traction, but he doesn't need to battle. He doesn't need to take any risks right now, because if he has an issue, a collision with Bossman Brain, he's just going to lose another position to Will Askew. Willie Barrow with another penalty, and that is going to be your race over. Tyler gets your race win here in P1, Craigleton in P2, and Sagseek in P3. We've got Josh dropping back all the way to P6. Bossman Brain gets a P4, and Will Askew, he has fought with whatever he had in his car today. He's going to be in P5. We've got Apex Glide in P8, and James Askew, he's just through the wall of champions right now to finish off his race. He had a possibility of getting into the top 5 as Will Askew in P5 right now. I would say Will Askew, he was quite similar to James Askew during the beginning of the race. But then it's going to be Will Barrow coming across the line. He made it through, safe through the wall of champions, and he's going to get 1 point on the board for the McLaren team. So that is going to be your Canadian Grand Prix here in All Elite Racing. Yeah, Ken, yeah, that's really unfortunate, buddy. That's really unfortunate. So this is gonna be your standings of today. Congratulations to everyone. Here we've got Tyler in P1, Craigleton in P2, and Sagseek in P3. The rest of the grid is Bossman Brain, Will Askew, Ken, Josh, Apex Glide, James Askew, Willie Barrow, Nate, Bramblebee, and then we've got Clashy all the way in P13. So 3 drivers only didn't make it out of the 13. That's quite a bit, if you ask me. But this is going to be your Canadian Grand Prix. So I thank everyone for watching. I'm going to try to fix this audio issue, not with my microphone, of course, but well, yeah, maybe a little bit because my OBS is glitching a little bit, but doesn't really matter. So, guys, I thank you very much for watching. This was a very eventful race. I'm gonna go back to my thank you screen. Here we go, guys. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching this race. Hopefully you found it a little bit interesting. If there were any audio issues, my apologies. I'm still trying to get a hang of it, but as of for now, I'm gonna be shutting off the stream. This was VB Thomas as your commentator. Peace out.